So here's the thing that confuses almost every English learner I meet. You say, have a coffee, have a party, have a meeting. But then you say, make conversation. Why not have conversation? Both sound like they should work, right? Well, today we're solving this mystery. And it's way more interesting than you think. Stick around because the answer will change how you listen to English speakers forever. Let's time travel for a second. The word make in English comes from Old Germanic roots meaning to build or to create from nothing. Here's the key insight. You have things that already exist. A coffee exists. You just acquire it and have it. But conversation? Conversation doesn't exist until two people create it together. You're literally building it, constructing it, from nothing. That's why you make it. Medieval English speakers understood this intuitively. They weren't being random. They were being precise about the nature of what conversation actually is. Let's catch some real examples in the wild. On a city street, you might hear, I made conversation with a stranger on the subway this morning. Or at a networking event. We made small talk for 5 minutes. Notice what's happening. When the conversation is being actively created. When there's effort. When it's new. When you're building it together. You use make. But here's the twist. Once a conversation already exists. Like, our conversation was interesting. Some speakers switch to other verbs. You don't really have a conversation the same way you have a conversation with someone you already know. This is why native speakers are so precise without even thinking about it. Here's where it gets hilarious. If you say, I'm having a conversation with someone right now, it sounds fine. But if you say, I'm making conversation with someone right now, while you're literally doing it, that changes the meaning completely. It starts to sound like you're faking it, like you're just being polite. Oh, I'm just making conversation means, I'm not being genuine. I'm just filling the silence. So context matters enormously. This is why you need to feel the language, not just memorize rules. English is playing psychological games with you. Once you understand this principle, you start seeing it everywhere in English. You don't have a joke. You make a joke. You make a decision. Make a plan. Make progress. Make an excuse. Notice the pattern? These are all things you create, build, or actively construct. Meanwhile, you have a problem, have a solution, have an opinion. You possess them. Your brain is constantly sorting verbs into these two categories without you realizing it. And this is the secret to sounding like a native speaker. Understanding the psychology behind why verbs get paired with certain objects. Here's your homework. And it's fun. Spend the next week listening to English speakers, podcasts, movies, YouTube, TikTok, real conversations. And write down every time someone uses make with something you might have said have with. Notice when they switch between the two. Notice how native speakers seem to know instinctively when something is being created versus when it already exists. You're not studying grammar anymore. You're studying how English speakers think about the world. That's the difference between B1 and fluent. Start thinking about the verbs, not the rules. And drop a comment below with an interesting make phrase you discover. Let's make this a conversation. See what I did there?